We just finished this cool project in a 2017 Chrysler Pacifica, and basically what we did is we took the factory 8-inch screen that was here and relocated it down there, I'll show you in a second, and replaced it with a 10-inch touchscreen that runs a computer that's in the back. So you basically have now full, touchscreen capabilities here. You can, scroll through, do whatever you want to do, and fat fingers. That entailed literally moving the middle of the dash up. As you can see, that outline is different. It sits about almost an inch higher than it did before, just to make room for this screen. We moved each vent almost an inch to the left and to the right respectively. We've cut the plastic piece that goes around the dash here. We redid and refinished the vents in the piano glossy black to match to the new screen trim and also the factory trim here. So the overall aesthetics are pretty similar to what it was originally. The other cool thing is everything that was on the factory screen is retained, and it's retained inside. We relocated that screen inside this little storage compartment. So if you actually, turn up the volume, turn it down, that still works. Turn up climate control, turn it down, turn the fan up and down. Everything is still fully functional. Backup camera, obviously, all the warnings. And if you don't want to see it, push it out of the way. All right, thank you for watching.
Here's a brief description and a behind-the-scenes look of how we did this. So the original screen was quite a bit smaller, but we had to accommodate this monster. And if you compare the two, you can see that the new screen is quite a bit bigger, especially with the frame. It's almost 12 inches diagonal. And basically, first thing was to remove all of the stuff. We extended the cables, which was straightforward because it runs off a CAN bus system and one LDVI cable, and relocated the original screen once we figured out it was working into the pocket down below. That pocket you can see here, that was the making of, was all made out of ABS, nice trim pieces, pretty straightforward, very thin and kind of an odd shape, but the cutout was made with a template, so it's nice and square, all done on the router. Then here you can see that the step-in holds the screen and mounts it extremely flush to the surface. You'll see that in a minute, and you see all the mounting points here. The top of it is basically held into the pocket with 2 screws, and here you can see exactly just how flush that screen is. It looked really quite fantastic. And now it resides in that lower pocket, and you can control everything from there. Every single function that worked before obviously still works. Next step was to do the dash. You can see we had to stretch it quite a bit. That's just a piece of wood simulating it. And the first step is to pull the electronics out and relocate them, into various places. The brain for it was actually now behind where the shifter is, with custom mounts all made. Then we pretty much removed every brace in the dash that we didn't need, just to make room for what we had to do and also give the dash flexibility. This is the key to the whole thing, is this metal bracket here. This holds every thing together. You can see the screen mounts with factory mounts with tabs, custom tabs made on the side. Once the bracket was constructed, we powder coated it just so it looks nice and doesn't rust, and basically gets installed into the dash. It only fits one way, it's keyed, so you really cannot mess it up even if you've never taken this apart before or you didn't build it. You insert the lower piece, then you insert the upper piece, and it's almost a cantilever / scissor way of mounting it. It pulls the lip down on the top of the dash, just so you don't have that arch. Next thing was to redo the dash and come up with a design that houses the vents. We wanted to use that chrome trim that's in there. So we basically mimicked the left side off of the right side, and all handmade. You can't really do this on machines, and just a lot of plastic work and fabrication, very detail oriented. So we took the template from the right side and cut the factory dash on the left side with a similar organic shape. Here you can see the hook and the mounts that we actually had to make to hold the vents on the back of that screen. Obviously the vents shifted outward, so foam was used to redirect the airflow so everything remains functional. The original design was flat black, but then we're like, yeah, that doesn't look so good, so we went with flat black vents and or satin black with a glossy screen, but ultimately we decided to go with all gloss, which ended up being the right choice because it looked fantastic. there's a lot of hours that went into these two little pieces. Here you can see one's still satin and one's gloss, and as well as behind the actual screen. Everything is very serviceable. This only guarantees that you don't have to service it, and that's what we like. Well, thank you for watching. If there's anything we can do for you, give us a call at Sound in Motion in Boston, 617-787-7744.